So, former FBI Director James Comey is under investigation because he shared a post that he later deleted with the numbers 8647. And MAGA has took that, and Donald Trump has took that to mean that he is calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. And they're all freaking out because the number 286 something means to remove it. And since he's saying that we should remove Trump, they're taking it to this extreme and saying that's what he meant by this. So now we all have to investigate James Comey. And so I want to make one thing perfectly clear before we keep going with this video. I do not wish to see any harm brought on Donald Trump. Okay. All I ever wanted to see was him held accountable for the crimes that he committed. I never wanted to see him back in office. I am of the opinion that he should be behind bars for the rest of his life. But I do not wish death upon the man because he's already a cult hero to his people. I sure don't want to see him become a martyr and to be glorified any further. And I don't want to hear all the batshit conspiracy theories that they would cook up if something like that were to happen. So I in no way wish any harm or death upon Donald Trump. All I ever wanted to see was him held accountable for the wrongs that he committed. That's it. But he's the leader of the free world, and the buck is supposed to stop with him. But recently, when he was reminded of that, hey, the buck stops with you, he said, well, I don't know. I don't know that it does. After spending years saying the buck stops with the president, he doesn't know now if it actually stops with him. And what is he doing to try to turn the temperature down in the room? Nothing. What is he doing to try to cool all this down as the leader where the buck stops? What is he doing? Absolutely nothing. Well, no, wait, he's doing something. He's sharing shit like this. Take a look at this from minusnews.com. And this one was written by J.D. Wolf. Trump shares a QAnon meme calling for military tribunal of Obama. Trump continues to amplify extreme content on Truth Social. That's what he decides to do in this moment. On May 18th, Trump shared a series of memes from the Truth Social QAnon aligned account, Spiritual Street Fighter, as an account he has frequently amplified. Just that alone, folks, just the fact that the leader of the free world is sharing something from Spiritual Street Fighter. One meme featured an image of Trump with Barack Obama in the Oval Office, overlaid with the message, all roads lead to Obama. Read truth if you want public military tribunals. And here it is. This is what Donald Trump reposted during this time. That's it. Right here. The language echoes long-standing QAnon conspiracies that accuse Obama and other political opponents of treason and advocate for extrajudicial trials. And look at this shit he shares. Slayer of the deep state. Look at that. Now, I can interpret that he's calling for the death of people. Couldn't you? So then he goes on. Trump also shared several pieces of AI-generated artwork from the same account portraying himself as a mythic warrior figure. One image shows him crouched with a sword in front of a Matrix-style background labeled Slayer of the Deep State. And then you have this one. We are taking back our great country. This is the type of third grade, and I shouldn't say that because it's an insult to third graders, but this is the type of just childish bullshit that this man is reposting. So here we go. Look at this one. Blind justice under the law. Look at so the sword's in his hand. What is he planning on doing with that sword? One could ask that question. Who is he planning on going after with that sword? That's how, I think those are fair questions, don't you? If we're going to all come down hard on James Comey, shouldn't we ask the same kind of questions to this? So the repeated amplification of content calling for military tribunals and referencing QAnon shows Trump is continuing to nod to the most fringe factions of his base. And he's going to, folks. He is always going to lean into that fringe faction because he truly does need them. When people says that the majority of this country voted for Donald Trump, that's not true. There was a whole lot of people that stayed home this election, and that is a whole other video, and there's a lot of different angles of thought that we can come at to get people back to the thought that, hey, I need to vote. My vote makes a difference. A whole lot of people absolutely lost faith in the system, and we can talk about that another day. But it always falls back on us. It's always told to us that we need to turn the temperature down in the room, that we need to tone it down, that we need to think about every word we say before we speak it. But meanwhile, the president of the United States is sharing childish garbage like that, calling for a tribunal, showing himself with a sword, calling himself a slayer. That is the type of stuff that he is reposting. And this isn't new. He's been doing it the entire time. This is the type of people that Donald Trump amplifies. So before anybody on our side even considers bringing the temperature down, which, by the way, I would say we're not turning it up, we're just pointing out the obvious. But before anyone tells us to turn the temperature down, I would like to remind you all of this image. Do y'all remember this? Trump shared this video. He shared a video of this image. He reposted this. And we called it out here on the channel when he did. Look at that. What do you think that's supposed to mean? He should have come out. He should have absolutely condemned that 100%. He should condemn groups like this and say, we do not stand for this. You do not represent me in any way. That's what he should have been doing. But that's the crap that he tries to amplify and always has been. And to anybody that says we need to turn it down on our side, I have another image I would kind of like to remind you of. Do you remember this? This was to hang the vice president, Mike Pence, and they were chanting outside, hang Mike Pence. Why? Because they bought into the bullshit conspiracy theories of Donald J. Trump. The buck stops with him. Should James Comey have posted that? Probably not. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh boy, yeah, everybody go out and post that. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not saying that he should have. But he's under investigation. He's under investigation. We all got to really just dig in and see what he meant by that. But Trump can share all this garbage from all these hate groups, and it's perfectly okay in their world. He's just trying to get a laugh out of people. He's just trying to get a rise out of them liberals. He's just trying to make them mad. And then you sit back and you read the manifesto of anyone that goes out and carries out an act of violence. And where does it trace right back to? It traces right back to that type of bullshit. Even the people who have ended up trying to take shots at him. What were they when you looked into it a little deeper? They were people that followed after him and was disgruntled over stuff that it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that this is where we're at. And the reason why that I call out this type of bullshit here on the channel is because if we're ever going to come together and really talk about the issues at hand, talk about what we all want out of life, talk about how that we can make all of our lives better, we have to get this child to stop acting this way. You can't have a serious conversation about anything. I could sit here all day long and say, listen, don't call for the death of Donald Trump. Don't do that. Our country does not need that. We're divided far enough. We do not need that too. Okay? I don't wish any harm on the man. Don't want to see any harm done on the man. Condemn anyone who would try to do it. See how easy it was to say that? So why can't he say the same thing? Why can't he call for unity? Why can't he call for peace? I know what they'd say. Oh, well, look at what they done to him, man. No, look at what he stirred up. Look at what he did. I make this comparison so many times here on the channel that you're probably tired of hearing me do it, but just because people creepy crawled across Los Angeles and screamed Charlie was innocent did not mean that they was going to let Manson go. He served out the rest of his life behind bars because that's where he belonged, okay? The guy was psychotic. The guy was crazy. That's where he belonged. It wasn't up to anyone else to turn the temperature down in the room. It was up to people to call that out and say, that's crazy, that's insane. We can't allow this to happen. We can't allow these type of people back out on our streets. You hear that phrase all the time. Can't let them back out on the streets. But we can, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, can amplify conspiracy theories and AI-generated art that definitely gets people fired up. What do you think a person who's deeply disturbed thinks when they see Slayer of the Deep State? What do you think they think about? When someone suggests having a trial for Obama, all roads lead back to Barack Hussein Obama. Okay, what do you think goes through their head when they read that? Stop looking over at us and telling us to dial it back when all we're trying to do is point out the madness. All we're trying to do is point out the sickening crap that this dude has done his entire political career. And he does this kind of crap and pushes this kind of crap. And I'll end on this note. He pushes this type of crap because he is not capable of governing. He is not capable of running the country. He does not know his hind end from a hole in the damn ground. Okay? Neither does any of the people that's in there. They're there for one reason and one reason only, and that is to completely dismantle everything that we were ever about. It's to completely shred this thing and throw it in the garbage. That's why they're there. The man is clueless. The man is a pawn. The man is a puppet in a much bigger game. and he amplifies and shares this shit to distract and to get more people worked up. And meanwhile, we got to investigate James Comey. What do you mean by that? But let him continue to sit here. The double standards are just completely sickening and completely off the rails. But I truly do appreciate everyone's support here on the channel. And we are going to be sharing more ways that you can help out our friends up in Kentucky who have been affected by the tornado, which, by the way, Andy Bashir was there on the ground immediately. And Donald Trump was sharing pictures of himself playing a piano. So that's the kind of world we live in. But we're going to be sharing ways that you can help out there. And we're going to be helping out in that part of the world because we've had a lot of serious shit go on while this toddler just tries to sit back and stoke the fire. So we're not trying to turn up the temperature in the room. We're trying to bring back common sense, and we're not going to stop until we do.